Character profile time. We are doing Andrea this week. She is gone but not forgotten. We're going to be having a look back at the short time that Andrea has been on Coronation Street today on our character profile. So we know little about her. She was married to Neil Beckett in 1994. She's got a child unseen on the programme, Jess Beckett. She first appeared on the 23rd of December 2013 and left on the 23rd. Oh no, she didn't leave on the 23rd of December. That's wrong. 25th of September 2015 because she came back. She was in 148 episodes so far, so that's all we had to enjoy about Andrea. Well, I'm still holding out hope this should be bad, but
Okay, so she had played Delilah Dingle.
Yeah, she was in Emmerdale in 2 years.
Between 2005 and 2007, and she also won Dancing on Ice in 2010 for some reason.
Well, she was on it for I don't know how big a character she was in Emmerdale back then, but I mean, big enough.
I thought the Dingles were big.
Yes, they are. Dingles are the main family on Emmerdale, as far as I know.
They're like the Platts.
I think they are. So she was famous for that. But so she was. But it was announced in October 2013. Or the Mitchells. Yeah, exactly. That she was going to be in Coronation Street initially for a short stint, which was later extended.
I've always liked Hayley to Madden.
Since when?
Since she was in Coronation Street.
So do I. I think she's great.
She's such a charismatic, friendly, bubbly...
I know. She's great on Twitter.
Kind of person. And I love Andrea's character. She's always smiley.
Yeah. She had a couple of, like, when she was, like, hiding this husband and everything. And she was also kind of being a bit...
Everyone hides their husbands. It's so embarrassing.
You know what I mean. And sometimes she was, like, playing Lloyd and Steve off against each other for a bit, but on the whole...
No, see, this is another thing where I have a certain idea of a character in my mind, and when they do something contrary to my personal idea of them, I'm just like,
no.
They made them do that. They wrote that.
I know exactly what you mean with that. So this was the blurb when her character was announced. Steve will decide to go back to school after he struggles to help daughter Amy with her homework, but his friendship with fellow classmate Andrea is set to cause a stir as Michelle becomes increasingly suspicious of their companionship. Is Michelle right to be wary, or has Andrea actually set her sights on another well-known Weatherfielder? As Stuart Blackburn said, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Hayley to the show. She's a great actress who I know is going to bring plenty of drama to the famous cobbles of Weatherfield.
I wonder how often he says famous cobbles of Weatherfield.
Probably very often.
Always when he makes a quote.
Exactly. He's only got 6 months left to say it.
I think it's quite weird that Andrea was doing a course on history. Almost as weird as Steve doing one.
Yeah, it seems to have just been set up for the storyline. Do you need a course on history to run a hotel?
Almost as weird as anybody doing a course on history at a college that isn't related to some kind of specific qualification.
I can't remember why
I really don't think that there are very many courses that are just like, just learn about history in general. Why don't you?
I bet there are.
Bet they're not.
Anyway,
who's going to pay money for that? You got to pay. It's not like school. You just turn up and it's free. You got to actually pay money out.
Maybe people are interested in learning about.
You can Wikipedia it. 2013.
Yes. So I thought it was funny how she was announced because she was teased quite a lot in the programme before she came on screen, wasn't she? Because Steve was winding Michelle up, unwittingly, I think, by talking about this friend that he's got on the course, saying Andrea this and Andrea that. And I don't think he was really realising that he was talking about her so much. And it was brilliant because it was getting Michelle's back right up. And he was like, oh, no, she's just a friend. Oh, well, she's great. You can talk about anything.
I have to say that if you were going on about Andrea, I would have hated her too.
I know. But because I don't mind Michelle so much anymore because we hated Michelle at the time. This is brilliant. Yeah. How he brings in Michelle and she whisks Steve away.
Brings in Andrea.
Andrea, sorry, and she whisks.
And he says, Andrea's not good looking.
Yeah.
But then she turns up at the Rovers because she helped Steve pick out a dress for Michelle.
Yes, the green one. And what a stun she was.
Yes.
And she has a mole.
Yes, Michael was obsessed with moles.
Obsessed with people who have moles.
You love it, don't you?
It's a beauty spot. I know, but if everyone's got a big mole...
I don't have a mole, do I?
No.
No, you're annoyed about that. So Andrea also catches the attention of Lloyd.
Yeah.
At the time. So that's what happened in that year.
Yeah, she was only in like one episode that year.
Don't forget she was introduced in December though.
Yes.
So in 2014, she convinced Steve to stand up to Michelle because she wanted him to get a vasectomy because she thought she was pregnant. She didn't want to get pregnant again. And apparently she cannot think of any other form of contraception than to snip off the balls. That's what that is, isn't it? snipping off the balls.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It must be.
One of the teachers at school's getting that done soon.
Chipping off the balls.
Yeah.
It's more hygienic for men, I think. Don't they say that? Especially makes them less aggressive. Or am I thinking of dogs? Michelle imposes a sex ban.
Yeah, Steve says, well, Andrew, you come and study with me then. So he knows what makes Michelle kind of...
So he's like using studying with Andrea as some kind of surrogate for having sex with Michelle. Which, to be fair, sex with Michelle or studying history... It's difficult to know which is worse, isn't it?
I know what I'd choose. Anyway, I did love the relationship.
What did you get in history again?
Hey.
There you go. See, now we know.
I just love the relationship between Steve and Andrea.
Steve and Andrea and Lloyd, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Steve and Andrea was the best at the beginning because they were just so total mates, and like they would like he'd like rub her hair and go,
rubs her hair.
And yeah, like you did at the end, and like it was so much like will they, won't
adorable.
they? And it's like they both kind of fancied each other a bit, but neither of them could really imagine it. And and Steve knows that this is never going to work because I'm with Michelle. I'm going to get a little touch of you if I rub your hair and stuff.
A little touch of you creepy weirdo. Lloyd decides to ask Andrea out, but Steve won't give him her phone number because he's jealous.
Yeah.
And then Andrea overhears and gives Lloyd her number herself, and they end up going out with each other. And Steve gets worried that he's going to be left out. And then Andrea is pleased about that because she is actually more interested in Steve than she is Lloyd.
Yeah, she starts going out with Steve to try and get to Steve, but it doesn't.
No, Lloyd to get to Steve.
I get my names mixed up.
So, Andrea and Steve are studying together, and he falls asleep. She falls asleep, and she starts hugging him, and she thinks he's Lloyd.
Yeah.
And then they both get covered in Steve's kebab, which is a euphemism.
For?
I'm not going to say.
Well,
Michelle enters and says, sex ban!
Yeah, Steve has to protest his innocence. Getting a bit close. So anyway, I
didn't like this bit. We discover... The only reason I like this storyline is because Neil is brilliant when he did that little song.
Yeah.
So we discover that Andrea has a secret husband who is called Neil, who has been working on an oil rig.
Yeah, but this is when Lloyd was going through his heart attack things, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was off in hospital, and Andrea couldn't see him properly because she was getting worried about Neil coming home. So they'd been married for like 20 years or whatever.
They've got a kid together.
Yeah, but it's the spark has gone from their relationship.
Neil's concerned, they're still happily married.
Well, good enough.
Well,
I think he might realise that it's
good enough. That's that's the marriage pledge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good enough.
Well, she ends up confiding in Michelle and saying, look, I've got this other husband, sorry. But then Lloyd finds out, so they split up. But it was only temporary. They're back together before long because Andrea says to Lloyd, look, it's over between us. The spark is gone. So Neil then turns into utterly creepy stalker man, starts hanging around outside Lloyd's flat and driving slowly past them, singing Atomic Kitten to them. He thinks that Lloyd and Andrea are engaged. I can't remember what Lloyd said to make him think that. And he climbs onto the top of the Rovers to protest. Which was interesting scene.
Immortalised in
Lego later on, yeah. So Andrea has to coax him down, but she ends up on the roof with him. Basically, Neil finally accepts and moves off to... where's he going then? Do you remember?
I don't know. Oil
somewhere. It's not Kuala
Dubai
Lumpur,
or
is
something,
it?
I don't know.
No, I can't remember.
Somewhere
somewhere foreign.
Like Wales.
Yes. And so Lloyd and Andrea are happily couple now, aren't they? So this year... she was speaking of oil rigs. No, I don't. It wasn't. Why have I written oil rig there?
Lloyd ended up on a Norwegian fishing
tanker
ship or something.
On
when
Steve's.
He fell asleep during Steve's stag do, so she got left by herself.
Yeah, Andrea kind of has been left by the wayside a little bit for a lot of this year, hasn't she? She's petered out. Hasn't had much to do. It kind of annoys me when
they get really good like double acts, like say for example Deirdre and Ken. And I'm struggling to think of someone else. And then one of them goes, and they're just like, oh, God, I don't know what to do with them now. Just put them in any scenes.
Andrea was there to be the other half for Lloyd, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of people would say that they didn't think Andrea or Lloyd did have that great chemistry. I don't understand that particularly. But anyway, she didn't do much this year. But we start to find out that something's going wrong with her daughter Jess, who moves to Amsterdam and then refuses to speak to Andrea. So but until
They
she
never
needs
really go anywhere with this.
no, they didn't really go anywhere with Jess.
They
It turned out in the
totally
end that
ruined
she
Andrea's personality as well.
a little bit, yeah, because Jess needs this rent money, and Andrea decides to sell Lloyd's records to get the money without telling Lloyd. And
She steals his stuff.
yeah,
And sells it.
and then gets guilty, gets shamed,
And then she
clears
leaves.
off.
She
out of
leaves because
nowhere.
she feels bad and she wants to make it up to him. So
Yeah.
she returns a few times to try to talk to him, but he's going out with Liz, and then she buys him the record back, doesn't she? She gets a loan. I don't know why she couldn't have done it in the first place. And then she turns up pregnant and with a job in Jersey.
Yeah.
Which is such a strange set of circumstances that it could have only been made up.
And then off they go, and that is sadly basically anything that Andrea did in her 448 odd episodes.
Apart from being awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know why. She was just like you said, she was always bright and cheerful and chirpy and big grin and
just happy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
not
what would have
naggy.
happened if you had said what happened to Kirk in the last 3 years. Nothing really. But if you got rid of him, I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So the exit was announced in the 28th of April this year, and she said, "I came into Corrie for 3 months and I've stayed for 2 years. I would be so sad to leave and I hate Craig Charles." No, she didn't do that. "I would be so sad to leave and I've had the best 2 years of my life here. It really is one big family. Everyone looks out for each other and I've made some incredible friends. I'm excited about my exit storyline and the fact that it's part of the live episode. Corrie's given me a great platform to hopefully go on to work on other dramas, but I'd never rule out a return to Weatherfield as I love it so much."
She's basically, since the end of April, been banging on about the fact that she doesn't want to leave. She really wishes she could stay. She was joking about... I think originally they must have had it that that live episode was going to be their last one before Simon Gregson pulled out. Mm-hmm. And she was all joking, "I'm not going to get in that taxi or I'm not going to get in the car in the live episode." She really, 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 I think, was hoping they'd say, "Oh,
just leave her in it."
Yeah.
Because she isn't the guy who plays Billy, the vicar, her friend.
Yeah, I think so. It's sad. It's so sad. I think the thing about Andrea is, like, a lot of the other women in Coronation Street are like, can be moany fishwives, and sometimes that's fine because it's all about women dominating and it's a women's world and everything.
It's about women being
powerful.
Like assertive, isn't it? And she's never really been like that.
No,
she's assertive,
but she's not a pushover. Her and Lloyd were total equals in that relationship, and there's not that many relationships on Coronation Street where the partners are equals, so it was quite nice. And I don't understand why people didn't like her. I really don't, because I think that she is fab.
She said, "Me and Craig are leaving together, and hopefully one day they might bring us back together. I'm so in love with Corrie. It's just an amazing job." So
One
hopefully,
of many quotes.
Red Dwarf goes completely down the pan, even more so than it already has, and Craig Charles comes back to Corrie. I don't think he wants to come back.
I don't think Craig Charles wants to come back. So all of this leaving stuff, regret about leaving, has been from her. I mean, he said, "Oh, I don't really want to leave, but I can't keep asking for time off," when he's been asked about it. But he's not been on social media or anything half as much as she has, saying how sad
because
he is to leave.
It's another job for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Red Dwarf is his kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if I was him, it would be no choice. I would have gone back to Red Dwarf. I mean, well, it's not been good, has it, Red Dwarf?
Well, just the last couple of series.
No. The whole Red Dwarf is great. Everyone loves Red Dwarf, but its comeback has been pretty rubbish, sorry.
But Craig Charles been the best actor of it.
Craig Charles is saving it, I guess. I don't know. It's difficult.
Yeah, we've had this...
You can't be the one who goes, "No more Red Dwarf."
I know.
If someone's going to pay you to do something that you love, even if it's a shadow of its former self, you're going to take the money, aren't you?
I don't know whether they think it's a shadow of its former self.
I don't know what they think they're doing.
I think they honestly think it was good.
Do you think other people think it's good? Because I think it was terrible.
It was not good. I don't know what other people think. Because I used to be totally obsessed with Red Dwarf, as you know. I had all the videos, I watched all the episodes, I could almost quote every episode line by line.
One live.
Yeah, and like this last series of Red Dwarf I watched once, and I don't even think I've seen it more than once. And that's...
I don't even remember what happened.
Not much, to be honest. But anyway, we're not talking about Craig Charles, we're talking about Andrea, and I so hope that Hayley Tomadan, if she doesn't come back to Corrie, that she gets a good job somewhere else, like back to Emmerdale or drama or something, because I just think she's utterly fab.
Yeah, I wish she was my
Well,
friend.
I was going to say that.
She can be our friend.
Yeah, I don't know whether she listens to the podcast. Now she
I
hasn't got
wonder,
any
wouldn't
job
it be
to go
funny
to.
if she was like in secret? She's just a raging bitch to everyone.
That would make me feel a bit better, but I don't think that's true. I think
so.
she is actually nice.
And she wears furs and smokes around children and things.
Oh well,